Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Mona and this channel is a channel where I talk about fragrances. I've not been uploading videos for a while now. It's been I think a year or so. I don't know why, life happening, things happening, and I just ended up not uploading so much. But I am here now, I hope I am back uploading videos again. I also have a profile on Instagram, and I don't know if you follow me, but I have not been so active there also lately. But I want to try and start again to be a little bit more active because fragrances is something that I'm passionate about. I'm curious. I want to make a disclaimer, I'm not expert. It's just something that I'm passionate about, curious. I've been collecting fragrances for 2 years now, and I have been knowing something, starting to know something and be curious about niche fragrances in particular for I think it's about 3 years. So I feel like I want to talk about fragrances here. I want to share with other people that are that are as curious and as passionate as me about fragrances, this passion of mine. I know that there are plenty of content creators out there, of course, and there are maybe also way more expert than me. But, anyways, I feel like I want to give you my perspective. Maybe I just bring a different perspective, or maybe I just kind of confirm something that you may already have heard from someone else of a certain fragrance, but it's just another voice telling yes, I also like that. And what do you like? I want to share and connect with people. So I wanted to make this quick introduction just to tell you a little bit about myself and what am I doing here, and yes, just making this little disclaimer that I don't claim to be any expert also. So let's dive into the topic of today's video, which is summer fragrances. I want to say that these fragrances are staples for me personally. These are the fragrances that I have worn last year, and I also am starting wearing this year. And some of these fragrances I've also been wearing for the last couple of years. These are not the only summer fragrances that I have, not necessarily objectively the best summer fragrances that I have, but I think for me these fragrances are staples. I really enjoy them and I've been obsessed with them, especially last year. This year, I don't know, maybe I have to discover other fragrances. I will discover other fragrances that I will become obsessed with, but right now I just couldn't wait to get those fragrances again, to wear them this summer. So let's jump into it and start with the first fragrance, which is Coeur by Comptoire Pacifique. Now, of course, this fragrance is a ylang fragrance, and it's an ylang and vanilla combination. It's a beautiful one. I feel like ylang and vanilla combination is just a beautiful olfactory category for the summer. The exotic flowers, it's something that I love. I tend to like exotic flowers more than exotic fruits. In general, I tend to like floral fragrances over fruity ones, but there may be some exceptions, especially with the exotic fruits. There may be some exceptions, but in general, I love the exotic flowers. And the ylang ylang, it's beautiful. Here you also have some frangipani. You have vanilla and Peru balsam in the base and bergamot in the opening. Now I don't know what Peru balsam smells like, but this is definitely balsamic. It has a dense, warm aspect underneath. Then you have the ylang ylang with the sharpness. I never smelled the ylang ylang flower, but I smelled an essential oil, and I can definitely say that there's something sharp about it. Almost acid. It's a very rich floral smell, but at the same time, there's something sharp about it that makes you think, I don't know if I like it, but at the same time makes you want to smell it again and again. This is not the most photorealistic ylang ylang fragrance, but you can get a bit of that sharpness. And then you have the frangipani, which is this beautiful, sweet, warm yellow flower, and you have the bergamot in the opening, so it has just a little bit of a freshness just when it opens, and it blends it blends up so beautifully together with the other notes, with the exotic flowers in particular, and the vanilla. It's very, very beautiful. It's sweet. To me, it's not too sweet, but I tend to like sweet fragrances. Not gourmand, but I like sweet fragrances. Um, so this is not too sweet for me, and I think it's so, so beautiful for the summertime. I do have to say that for a very long time, I don't know why. Well, I know why actually, because it has this warm base. That for a long time I thought that it would be just for the fall and winter. This is a fragrance that I bought, I think it was 3 years ago, and I've known for at least 4 years. It is one of the first niche fragrances that I discovered, and I was really into that, but I didn't know when to wear it because, of course, it reminded me of summer, but for me, it was too much for the summer initially. But last year, I don't know what happened, but I craved for something like this, and I smelled it again and decided that that was going to be one of my summer staples. This is really beautiful. So, Coeur by Comptoire Pacifique. The next fragrance that I want to talk about is another yellow floral. This time is an Osmanthus fragrance. It is Osmanthus by Ormonde. Now, this fragrance, I feel like from the brand is quite, it's not so talked about, and I just don't understand why, because this fragrance to me is so beautiful. I have to say, it's so refreshing also. This is, of course, meant to represent the Osmanthus smell, and we probably already know that Osmanthus has this kind of apricot juicy facet. Think about Sunshine by Amouage, if you know that fragrance. And I have to say that I have that fragrance in my collection. I love that fragrance, but for me it's not a fragrance that I would wear in the summertime. I may change my mind as I change my mind with Coeur d'Ilang, of course, who knows. But for now, for me, that one is more like a spring scent, or a kind of transitioning fragrance from summer to fall. You know, this kind of, because yes, it reminds me of summer, but it's still too dense and sticky and creamy for the summer, at least in Italy, because I have to say that I live in Italy and it can be very, very hot. But anyways, that fragrance, as of course, represents that aspect of Osmanthus, which is this kind of apricot juicy tartness. Here you have a little bit of that, but Osmanthus also is meant to smell a little bit citrusy, a little bit green and aromatic and woody. I never smelled Osmanthus either, but I've read about that. So I never smelled either the flower or the essential oil, but I've read about it, so take it with a grain of salt because I never smelled it personally. But I read that it is supposed to smell like that. And if it really smells like that, this fragrance is a great representation because you have a beautiful citrusy opening with the grapefruit. So it's not your typical citrusy with bergamot or lemon. You have this grapefruit, which is very refreshing in the summer, in my opinion. And then you have, of course, the juicy tart apricot vibe, but then you also have the vetiver, and you have something else. I don't remember all the notes, but I remember that I remember that there is some vetiver, and so you have this beautiful, slightly green, aromatic, woody aspect. Together with the citrusy aspect of the grapefruit, and then you have all blended in with this juicy tartness of the apricot. It's a very, very, very beautiful scent. I think it's very polite. It's very classy. It doesn't project too much. It doesn't last too much, but I don't care actually. I really like how it smells. I think it's extremely elegant and it puts me in a good mood. It's a beautiful, beautiful summer scent. So this was Osmanthus by Ormonde. The next fragrance that I want to talk about is Ilha by Memo Paris. I won't get it too close because otherwise I would make you go blind because it reflects on the how do you call that? Anyways, it reflects a lot. So I'm going just to put that bottle down. But Ilha de Mel is a beautiful, beautiful scent. It is basically a floral, especially a white floral, musky scent, but it has a beautiful honeyed facet because it has a broom blossom note, and my gosh, beautiful. Broom blossom is a floral note, but it has a honeyed facet in it. If you're familiar with Ilha by Marc-Antoine Barrois, I recently added it to my collection and I love it so much. I just haven't included it in this video because it is not it has not been a staple for the summer for so long, because I just added it to my collection, so I don't even know if I'm going to wear it in the summer. I have to see how it's going. So even though it's usually recommended as a summertime fragrance, so I guess it will work, but I would see. But Ilha de Mel has this broom floral broom blossom note, so it has this honeyed facet. And I just talked about Tilly because also Tilly has this broom note and you have that honeyed facet, but in Tilly is a little bit more honeyed. Here it stays more fresh. Here it is a beautiful, very fresh floral. It's almost aquatic in the, or I should say oily in texture, but not oily in a bad way. It's oily because Memo use that beautiful essential oils and absolutes, especially in the floral fragrances. You can really tell that they use these beautiful high quality ingredients because the texture it's quite oily, but oily of course like an essential oil. So it's beautiful, it has a beautiful texture, and it remains very fresh, musky, floral. Again, white floral, there's some gardenia, some jasmine, but don't think that it's too heady or something, not at all. It remains very soft, very beautiful. With this beautiful on it facet, there's some orange blossom as well. And yeah, so it's a beautiful, beautiful scent. Because of that combination of orange blossom and honeyed, this honeyed facet, it reminded me at first of Elisab Le Parfum, which is, I think, maybe my favorite fragrance of all time. I don't wear it too much lately, but I love. I still think it's one of the best fragrances ever released. And at the beginning it reminded me of that, but here there is something else going on. It's a much more of a summer fresh scent. You also have some vetiver in here, by the way. You have some vanilla, some musk, as I said, but you also have a hyacinth note in the opening, so that's probably, should have mentioned that before because that's quite a prominent aspect of this fragrance. It's quite aromatic, green. It has something very different from what you maybe used to smell. Hyacinth is not a note that you usually see in perfumes. So yes, it's a beautiful, beautiful one. But again, it remains with all these facets, it just remains very fresh. It has a dense aspect, an enveloping aspect, a warm aspect, but it remains very refreshing. It's a fragrance for the summer, hands down. It's a beautiful fragrance for the summer. So yes, one of my favorite probably. So the next fragrance I want to talk about is a fragrance centered on orange blossom, and it is Eau Feminin by Micallef. This fragrance, I like it very much because it has some elements of what I think an orange blossom fragrance should have, especially in the summertime. It has all the elements actually. Here you have the petitgrain, the neroli, and the orange blossom. Now, if you don't know, these are three notes coming from the same tree, the orange blossom tree. Orange blossom and neroli are extracted from the same flower, but are notes that come from the same flower but extracted differently. I don't remember which one is extracted in what way, just know that they come from the same flower. And the petitgrain are the leaves or the other parts of the plant, of the tree, of the orange blossom tree. So you have, with the neroli, you have something that is too bitter and green, a very rich scent, bitter and more on the green side, whereas with orange blossom you have something a little bit more sweet, floral of course, more like a white floral that is a little bit more sweet and smells more citrusy. But here in this fragrance you also have some citrusy element, you have a tangerine. I believe there's also some bitter orange because it reminds me a lot of Eau de Sens by Diptyque, which is a fragrance that I really like. But for me it's quite challenging to wear because it has this kind of vintage vibe with this orange, bitter orange and orange blossom. So I don't know, I like it, but for now it's quite challenging to wear, especially in the summer. I feel like this is so perfect because it is very light wearing, and it mixes up this bitter orange with the bitterness of neroli and the petitgrain, which adds something green and aromatic, and it mixes these with something a little bit more on the sweet side with the orange blossom and the tangerine. It goes well. I don't want to make that comparison because there's two completely different fragrances, but when we talk about orange blossom we may think of L'Eau de Michai as a kind of a sweet orange blossom scent, and it's like after it has become popular, it's really like there was a before and after in the making of orange blossom fragrances. It's kind of a reference, kind of something that everyone probably look at when they make some orange blossom fragrance, especially if they want to make it in a sweet direction. So you can definitely see that there is something going in that direction, but it's far away, and it's good for me because I'm not a fan of L'Eau de Michai. It's too marshmallowy, fluffy, sweet to me. I don't like the marshmallow note in fragrances, and here you don't have that. So it's like that orange blossom sweetness, so it may make you think of that fragrance, but it kind of goes in that direction, but again, it stays far away from that. It's so beautiful, very refreshing, but sweet, slightly vintage, very beautiful. One of the most perfect probably orange blossom fragrances. I want to make a comparison also with Le Vin by Ormonde, just because I talked about Osmanthus, which is one of my favorite fragrances, especially for the summer from the brand. But Le Vin for me, I feel like this is similar in texture, like it kind of wears very lightly as well as Le Vin, but I feel like Le Vin is really it's not, it doesn't tell me anything to me. I don't want to offend anyone, of course, but it's too generic for me. But if you like the idea of something like Le Vin, I actually think it's a pretty scent. It's not bad at all, but it's just something that I don't feel like I would buy or wear. But if you like how it smells, but you would want something with a little bit more going on, with a bitter element, with something a little bit more citrusy, this fragrance, it's definitely something that you should try. So, Feminin by Micallef. The last but certainly not least is a fruity fragrance. We've talked about all floral fragrances, but I warned you, I am a floral. I'm not necessarily always a floral fragrance girl. I also like fragrances that are a little bit more on the dark side, or something like that. But especially in the spring and summer, I'm more floral than fruity. I'm more for floral fragrances than fruity fragrances. But there is an exception. There are some exceptions, and this is one of them. And I'm talking about La Capitale by Xerjoff. So this is a beautiful summer staple. You have strawberry and caramel and ginger in here. So you have this beautiful, it's so sexy, flirtatious and fun. But then there is also something a little bit more dark and deep in the base. There's definitely some oud or leather or some woody notes. There's something that adds a depth to the fragrance. Maybe there's also some ambery aspect. but definitely there is something else going on. It's not just a strawberry fragrance and that's it. But again, you also have this beautiful caramel blended with the strawberry. The ginger add something a little zesty to the fragrance. It's very, very beautiful, and I feel like it's very again flirtatious and fun, but mysterious and dark at the same time. So I feel like this is perfect for the summer night. I don't wear it. I wouldn't wear it for the daytime, but I feel like it's the best for the summer night, especially if you have a party or if you're going out with your friends and you want to, be that kind of girl a little bit, or that kind of person in general. It's a unisex fragrance, as all the fragrances that I just refer to girls because I'm a girl and I'm imagining myself wearing these fragrances, but these are all unisex fragrances. And if you want to be that kind of person, that kind of, mysterious but also flirtatious and fun, this is perfect. Party, maybe on the beach, at summer night. So this is it. These are the fragrances that for me are summer staples. Have been my obsession last year, and I believe, unless I will find other fragrances that kind of take their places, but otherwise I believe that I'm going to keep wearing them this year too. I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to know also about your favorite fragrances for the summer, and if you know the fragrances that I mentioned in this video, please let me know what you think about them, and hope to see you in the next one. Bye.